So, welcome to my Unreal stream. And, it's always good to have Audrey here helping me out. So, the idea was, or the plan was here, that we're going to actually start animating today. I spent the last hour working away at trying to get this rig ready to go so that we're not talking about the rig again for another stream. This would be our third stream if we were doing that. And so we're going to try and do some animation. I haven't actually collected any reference or anything yet for what we're going to do in our animation, but I'm just going to do a little recap here of what we're trying to do. I'll open up the Unreal backdrop just so that there was an actual connection to Unreal with what we're trying to do here. Audrey says, well, it was either that or I had gone deaf. Yeah, it's always hard to know when you're trying to use a Zoom call and you're like, is it my end or your end? And how am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. It's been a spectacularly busy week, so for me to be sitting down doing some animations, kind of nice, actually. Change of pace, so it's not super technical hard problems. It's actually just sort of like zone out and animate. Oh, we gotta get to the western town here, not the old backdrop. Go to our newer one. The other thing we have to do is actually find a angle and stuff to put the rabbit into, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to that today. I don't know, it depends how fast I feel like animating. How good of a polished job I'm gonna do on my animation, I guess. This is gonna be the question. But we're gonna have to find an angle or something where you can actually see the ground, see the rabbit bouncing around. That'll be kind of fun. Audrey also says professional free assistant. Professional free assistant. There you go. You are my professional free assistant. Yeah, we're actually, that's funny that you're talking about that, because we're talking a lot about teaching assistants and how our school's looking into doing that. So we'll keep an ear out for the official announcement of how we're going to be incorporating teaching assistants into our school. Pretty excited about that. Actually, that's part of the reason why this week's busy, because I'm working away at trying to support that and other things. But anyway, so we'll have to figure out what we're going to do for our Unreal angle, but meanwhile we're going to go and try and actually create an animation. We know that this rig will be supported in the game engine because it's using the Churong rigging toolset, and I'm also using NG skin tools at the moment, which is why it's so colorful. Just kind of tweaking out some of the skinning and the weighting so that the verts kind of feel like this vert right here feels really dead when I have the leg movement. So what I'll do is I'll take the hip right and paint a little bit of influence on it so that now it moves around a bit with the rest of the animation. And you know, obviously skinning takes a lot longer than just kind of a quick rough pass like what I'm doing right now, but you can always come back to it after you've finished your animation and do the fixes a little bit later, so it doesn't have to happen right away. But anyway, that's all we're trying to do here. Audrey says, that goes right on my resume. That's right. I will do the job if I'm paid in McDonald's. Is that how that works? Please pay me in Happy Meals. Or at least that's what my kids would say. That's a weird comparison to say. That's all I think about is Happy Meals. Alright, so I'm gonna stop doing this and we're gonna start animating because I need to get going. Start finding some reference, figure out what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take these keys. I've also changed some of the controller sizes and done various edits, which is something that kind of been learning and practicing as I've been going through this for the third time, which is not too unusual when you're rigging. And I changed the pivot of this controller here, which is kind of cool too, so that pivots on the front of the toe and then you just use this controller to kind of level it out. Might give you a nicer sort of planted look without having to create a whole crazy custom rigging system for it. It doesn't do too bad. The ears themselves seem to be oriented pretty good and weighted right, so not too much work there. We're getting that secondary action necessary. I don't know, everything else seems pretty good. It's a fairly simple character, luckily. Roger says, absolutely money. Money what? Who needs money? So what I'm going to do is make sure that I do this correctly. So we've got rig number 7 is going to be our final rig, I guess. I should actually probably save this as something more generic in hindsight. Maybe I'll just call it rig. And then every time I do a change, I'll save it over top of rig. And then what you do when you do an animation is you make a new scene so that it's empty, and then you create a reference for it from the rig. So I'm going to create a reference, go and locate that rig again. It's not here. Rig. And it's very important that you get the namespace right. So I'm going to pick the last one, which merge into selected namespace and rename incoming objects that don't match. Selected namespace is, I'm not sure. I'm hoping this will just work because there's no other characters in the scene, so it'll just come in. I'm going to reference that. And the key that I'm looking for is there's no namespaces. Very good. Because you really don't want a namespace. My cat, of course. 1 second. That was awesome. My cat demands to go out the door of my office because, you know, she's sleeping in my office and now she's like, I'm done. I want to go. Oh, hey, we got Louis here. Hello, welcome. Louis, I hope I'm saying that right. So anyway, you do the reference and you have no namespaces because if you have namespaces in your joint hierarchy that you're going to export into Unreal, which I'm hoping is in here somewhere. Deformation system, here it is. And each one of these has a namespace in it. It won't get recognized when it gets brought into Unreal. Because it'll be like, hey, these are 2 different joints. I can't find the match. And then you're really in trouble. And that has happened in one of my previous streams. So this time, making sure I reference it incorrectly. Audrey says that's cute. I'm assuming that's because of my cat, my English cat. The cat I brought from England. We and it's a stray cat that we rescued. It was it came to us and wanted to be rescued. So we're like, okay, I guess if we have to. And then we had to get all the proper regulations and do all the paperwork so that when we came back to Canada, she came with us on the airplane. It was a pretty wild thing. I've never brought a pet over on an airplane before, but it seemed like she survived and now she's pretty happy here. So it's all good in the end, I guess. Must have been a little traumatizing though, of course. Anyway. Alright, so here's our rabbit. So we have our animation file. Better save this. We're gonna call it rabbit. I think it's just gonna be a hop cycle. Because, or we could do an idle. Maybe we'll do an idle first. Because idles are easy, plus they sort of establish the beginning pose. Idle 01, save. Hey, Sarah's here. Welcome. Hello, Simon. Hello, creatives. Hello, rabbit. We're back to the rabbit. Alright. So we're going to get this rabbit to crouch down, I guess. That's where right away I'm going to need reference for animal reference. We're going to see how well this rig can hold up. So that yellow one is the COG. This is the FK, the IK Elvis controller here. Definitely getting some interesting results here with this side. We're gonna have to be careful about how to do that. We've only got so many verts to work with, so this is gonna be not always the prettiest of poses. But I think if we're careful, we can make it work, even though it might look a little hopeless right now. We have some stray verts that have some skinning issues on this side. Oh, I forgot to mirror my skinning over. Oh, that'll do it. This is a perfect example why referencing is very important. Because now I fix the skinning in the rig file, and then it will just update over here. Audrey says, "Hey Sarah," and Sarah says, I'm trying the rigging tool on my kangaroo next week." Oh, okay. And then Sarah's asking Audrey how she is. Dave says, "That bunny looks stretchy." You may need to create a holy hand grenade of antidote. Antidote? What does that mean? Where's that coming from? Antioch? There's a reference to something, a game, I assume. I'm probably supposed to get it, because, you know. Oh, it's Monty Python. Well, yeah. Except for I still don't get it, because I don't know what an Antioch is, but I know in Holy Grail it was like, they had the big rabbit, right? Is that what it was? They used a holy hand grenade on the rabbit. It was a little rabbit, maybe. I forget. I haven't watched that in years. I can see where the reference is coming from now. That's making sense. He's giving me a hard time. Yeah, my Monty Python knowledge is not the best. Evil rabbit. Oh, he's getting back to Audrey. All right, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna take a look for. Let's do some reference pose for rabbit sitting. This is gonna be ridiculous. Oh, here we go. That one looks pretty good. So it's just sort of like upper legs up a little bit, and it's mostly about the fur. She says, regardless of the Antioch. Am I saying that wrong? Antioch? Antioch? Man, I gotta watch that movie again. The rabbit is cute. Well, he's cute right up until you see the skinning flaws, and then we're gonna have to like figure out how to deal with that. But you know, a bit of skinning adjustments will help. But realistically, if this character was using fur, then we'd really be in better shape because it would just be kind of masking all that problem. All right, let's go with this. Bring this down. And it's kind of important that we're really like exploring the rig a bit too right now on a simple animation, because kind of want to find these problems sooner than later. Is this other controller let me move it independently? No, fortunately not. I have a little jaw animation here. Controller, but there's no mouth open, so it's just kind of more like a, maybe I can use it like a sniff or something as an idle, part of my idle. Not sure yet. Antioch. Oh, is that what it is? We need to summon a Scottish person for that word. Or it's like the cheap kangaroo rig I bought, but at least your bunny has naming convention. Oh. Were the skinning problems? Is that what it was? I gotta keep up with my text a little faster. Dave says, too true. And Xander, woo! Hi Xander, welcome. All right. Let's make these feet a little asymmetrical. So that doesn't seem like it's too default posed. I almost kind of feel like the character needs to be a little further back. Let's see here. Do we have control over these knees? Okay. So I'm gonna open up another. Oh, by the way, I got the. Today I was gonna be like, oh, let's use Maya 2022 since I was forced to install it today or earlier this week, and then when I started it, I was like, oh yeah, I need to use NG skinning, which is not. It's an older version, and it, as far as I never even checked to be honest, but I imagine it doesn't have a version that's compatible with 2022 yet. So I don't even have the option to use the 2022 yet. Yeah, 2022 just came out. Sarah says skinning lack of polys. Oh, with lack of polys. Sometimes lack of polys is easier, but sometimes it does create these weird deformations. Mark says, I found my niche, animating horses. Oh yeah, nice. Excellent. Got the horses figured out. I don't think there was a 2021 version of Maya. It just went straight to 2022. Which I kind of prefer because I don't really like jumping around between versions of Maya if I can help it. But in this case, I did get an email today. I keep saying today, this week, that notified me that my educational license has expired and I have no choice. I have to get Maya 2022 or something. So I did, and I have it. But my version of 2020 is still working, so I'm not really sure what that means, and I'm not sure if that's not surprising, but Autodesk has really been changing how they do their licensing system, so it's hard for me to kind of keep up with what their new plan and strategy is to make sure everybody pays for their license. Really did prefer it before, where it was much more lax. And you'd be like, oh, whatever. You're just learning Maya. It's free and just keep it. But now it's all like, you only get it for 1 year and you have to prove that you're in an educational, some sort of educational study and institution. And I'm like, wow, that's making it a lot harder for people to want to learn. Alright, I'm going to get the, I'm going to open up the rigging and I'm going to try to mirror the skinning over because I just realized I haven't done that yet. So. And then we'll just see if we can update the system. I'm going to use the tools, hopefully. Oh wait, actually I don't want this tool anyway. I want the NG skinning tools. This one. And grab the mesh. Oh, here's a mirror button. Wow. Let's just push the mirror button. Abby! Here we go again, Rabbit. Yeah, I know. This is it. This is my last week before Easter. I gotta make sure that this is done and ready. Audrey, you're a teacher. No, we don't do that here. So you're talking about Autodesk? Don't teach people, we just take your money. There we go. Looks like the skinning's better now. Or at least the same. Better? I don't know. It's the same on both sides. That was easy, I just had to push the mirror button. I already knew which side to mirror it to, apparently. Alright, so then I just take that rig and I save it with the new mirroring. Now I go over to my animation. And I should go to my reference editor and right click on this and go reference, reload reference. And magically, nothing's happened. Oh, bugger. Well, maybe it's a different problem then. What did I do? Did I switch? Did I change something? Change this or something? 36. Oh yeah, I did. Oops. Wow, that's totally not even close. I was typing 30. Oh, I'm gonna translate. That's kind of handy to know. It's actually a positive. It's a perfectly mirrored positive numbers here, I think, from what I can tell. We're getting positive 36 to get one effect, and we're getting a positive 36 to get the other effect. So that means those two will give you equal values if you want to mirror it over. Hopefully that's consistent across all the controllers. Yeah, look at that. You have like one edge loop there. That's something else you can fix. So in post, you know, well, in post, you can fix the number of edge loops and reskin it and stuff, and it'll come through in the reference. As long as you're not changing the position of the controllers, all these changes can come through. All right, how's that looking? Not the greatest. And it's because this is an advanced skeleton control rig, I'm hoping that we have access to some of these tools. Yeah, good. So we can pick the controllers using this, and we have the option to like mirror poses and copy poses and stuff like that. It's very good. Even have IK switch, IK switch, which is pretty useful. Sarah, I'll be back in a bit. I have a meeting with Maxine. Oh, very cool. Alright, what else can we do for a little bit asymmetry before I start animating? Make the head like over to the side a little bit. Maybe we'll bring this over here. Twist it. These feet, rotate it out. I really can't get any lower than this. Like, can we get a little bit lower? Okay. Have a good meeting with Maxine. I wonder if that's a CallArts meeting. Actually, they have a Maxine actually teaches a class for CallArts as a portfolio and presentation course, appropriately. Pretty sure she's told us that before. Sarah has. Okay, so now I'm gonna make sure these controllers are keyed. Oh, I've still got my test keys over here. Oh, can I delete those keys? Cut key. One or more attributes are referenced. Oh yeah, so those are from my rig animation. I gotta get rid of those. So we'll jump back to the rig file, clean them up, and then update our scene here. Oh, Sarah's still here. She's running a bit late, so I will stay here and mute when needed. He's giving me some feedback on my demo reel. Very good. Let's see if we can break the connections of all the animations. And make sure it's all zeroed out. Save it again. Come back to our animation. Reload our reference. Hopefully the keys will just disappear. Oh, we had a full-on crash. Well, I guess the keys disappeared. It's not really what I was hoping for, though. It's alright, I had saved it just before, so it should be alright. And this is a good lesson about be careful when you use references. They're not always stable. They're helpful, but not always stable. Oh, I've already read those. What do we got back here? Oh, I don't know. Why can't I even select it? Oh, that is the one that's opening. Is that the one that's opening? Apparently. Idle, open. Continue, continue. There we are, and if I select all the controllers minus the meshes, we go to animation mode. Hey, there we go. Now we're free to make some keys. Same for concept art, says Audrey. You think you got one done, and bam, it's a 3D concept. Oh, you think you got a good one. What is the difference between a 3D concept and a concept art? I feel like you just spend a little bit too much time polishing a concept art, you just get a 3D concept art. You put too much highlights and shadows? Or is it more like there's actually, you're using 3D content in it in order to consider that? Okay, so in this animation cycle, idles are usually pretty long, so, but not maybe 120 frames long, but maybe like 60 or 80 frames. We'll do 80 frames. Because if you keep them too short, they you have trouble like with stopping them from looking too like short little repeating animations. Really, that's all it is. Although this might be a little different because I don't know what kind of controls I have for breathing and stuff. So we'll take the first pose and we'll make sure the last pose is the same. Wow, 200 frames. What happened here? 80. And then we'll take the middle frame, which is like 40. Key that as well. So maybe we'll try to do like a breathing thing. Though it is a little rabbit, so maybe 80 is too long. Maybe I'm doing it for the pace of a human. Maybe we'll bring it in. Audrey says it's a little harder to actually grasp her perspective or other actual aspect of the ref is it might not be based on something real. Otherwise, it's not awful, just not recommended. 3D concept. Is it not recommended because it's too close to the uncanny valley? Is that why you get into this state where you're always like, it looks too real, but not real enough? Yeah, he's breathing. Alright, and we'll do some head movements. So we'll try to keep the head alive a little bit here. Very, very subtle. And then we'll look somewhere else a little bit. This is very similar to my fox animation from before. This is part of the reason why it's hard to do a very short animation, because even just this little movement here is going to be like, well, obviously it's a loop because we just did the same thing but 1,000 times. So maybe that's not going to work. So we'll put it back in the same spot and we'll just do a little tiny move. And I think my animation is going to have to be longer. So take 50, make it to 100. Grab that breathing animation and duplicate it. Whoa, that did not duplicate at all. What's going on here? Am I misunderstanding how you duplicate? I think I am. I thought you could just hold shift. Maybe not. Okay, so we're 100 frame animation now, and we've got a little bit of a moment here where it looks one way and it looks the other way. Might be kind of nice to have half of it do something and half of it not do something. Audrey says, sorry for my grammar, just reread that. I didn't notice that too much. Sarah says, I think it depends on when they resting or just stopped hopping on the breathing pattern. Yeah, that's true. It could be like scared and like breathing really rapidly, or just relaxed and not breathing very obviously at all. Audrey, honestly, as long as I have ref, I'm good to go. Yeah, I hear you on that one. In fact, this is a moment where I should be like, yeah, ref, that's a good idea. So I may do that in a sec. I need to do it anyways for the bunny hops, just to make sure that I'm on track for that stuff. Whoa, my keys are all getting messy here pretty fast. What is the breathing on? The 25th frame. What is this? This is my other ones. Oops, I just got rid of a breathing key. I'm gonna just lock down these breathing keys just so I don't do that again. Oh no, what have I done? There is some double keys going on here. How did I make that mistake? I must have moved it or something. I do it on my own grammar, says Sarah. This lesson is so cool. Thanks, Zach. Hopefully you're being sincere. It's not doing a ridiculous job here. I'm like, oh, hey, I did my breathing wrong. Let me try that again. I fix this. Oh, jeez, I did it wrong again. Let's try to use my source control here as I'm saving my iterations. Oops, don't delete. Oh my goodness. Mark for add. Mark for add. Mark for add. Pass 3 on re-rig. That's how many times we've re-rigged this thing. Let me do another one here, and I'll check out my animation file so I can save it again. Come back to that again. Audrey, he's alive! He's alive in a very creepy, uncanny way. I'm gonna try and get a little bit of movement here. It's so hard to get that subtlety in. This is like, you think idles are easy, but they do actually involve some seriously complex, like, movement here. Because, as you're going to notice, this is going to be way too much stuff here. And on the red rotates. I don't know. I put all those breathing keys in there, but I'm starting to wish I hadn't because it's too much key information here. Alright, and then we'll do the head movement rotation here, make sure that that rotation is nice and subtle. This is a really important part. Right now I've got like a rotation and then it holds very, very clear. I'm going to try to put this little bit of subtle overlap on that. Seedik. Awesome, I love seeing someone troubleshoot in real time. That's good. I appreciate those comments, to be honest. It's nice to have and also welcome, by the way. Names I'm not recognizing. It does. It's a little crazy to try to do these things on the fly, but I know what you're saying. It's actually quite nice to hear, or to know that you know, these are complicated problems sometimes you run into, and trying to avoid as much, you know, basically damage control as you can at this point, to avoid having spent too much time working on things when you don't really need to spend so much time in one area. So what I'm really trying to do is get the translation, so the rotation of the green curve here to have a bit more overlap, and usually I spend a fair bit of time, you know, just messing around with this very, very subtle movement here that kind of gives you that slight sense that, you know, it could be an overshoot, it could be like just a slow ramp up to the pose, but it's that subtlety that will happen in a natural movement that really gives makes all the difference between looking robotic or and natural. Really have to like be careful to avoid any kind of like super straight lines, but it comes at a cost where if you put too much of it in, it starts to look like everything's all floaty, and that's the opposite problem that animators always have, is everything comes off as looking too floaty in the beginning. Foxy Artist 66. Wow, that rabbit looks good. Well, okay, so the story of the rabbit is it's free, so you can download it online. It's extremely low poly, and but the intention is it's going to sit in the backdrop of our Western scene, and you know, one will be maybe sitting, the other one will be hopping around, or maybe we'll get it to sit and then hop. But it's just two animations, I'm thinking. And we'll just have to like figure out a camera angle that makes sense, and just have them naturally in the background, kind of exiting the scene and then coming back in, so that we can loop it and turn it into an actual slightly entertaining backdrop. We kind of did it last time with the fox and the window on a different backdrop, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm trying to get this one in before Easter. But what are we at? Oh, we're 45 minutes in, so yeah, we might be able to get it in. I don't know. Depends on how successfully this goes. Guess I can always, worst case scenario, kind of rough it in a little bit faster if I have to. I'll have to keep my eye on the pace though. So I'm basically making a key and then just allowing it to overshoot and maybe drop it in a little bit, so that there's a bit of stuff going on there. I noticed that there's two angles happening. I think it's on the blue axis as well, where, oh, we actually have this issue where we have a double key because of all the mess I've been doing. Let's see if we can get some more rotation in there. That kind of works, I guess. I wonder if we can, like, reposition the head a little bit when he rotates. We come over to this angle and try, like, actually moving the head a little bit. Not just a straight positioning thing. Take a look at our translation controls, and basically we want them to stay there until come back. So goes about there. And of course, everything needs to be really, really subtle here. It's a rotation issue. Sorry, I'm just trying to chase down this like slightly slow moving. Here it is. Movement there. All right. Still pretty stiff, but I think we're getting somewhere. Now, there's another cool feature that you can do when you're doing this. This just goes in line with everything else we're talking about. Where when you move your head, and this happens more for heavy characters. Oh yeah, that still looks a little bit strange. It actually, your whole body kind of takes a bit of a tug as it happens. So as we turn our head, the body's going to react and pull from that. So let me just try to figure this out here. If the head goes to the left, the body's probably going to tug to the right a little bit. Again, it's going to be super, super subtle. And then there'll be a correction that happens afterwards. And when it goes back, ooh, look at that crazy maneuver on that controller. I'm gonna have to fix that. When it goes back, then and there's two of them too, actually, I suppose. So it's the pull when the head goes over, and then it's a push when the head comes to a stop. So there would be a bit of a contrast movement here. So I'm gonna drop another key, I guess, so that we can really push that curve. Really push that curve. It's like, what? Nothing's changed. And then here again. Let's see here, we want to go, it goes over there, then we want to go that way. That is super, super subtle. Okay, and then the neck itself has some sort of broken key, so something's going on here. Oh, they're not broken, maybe. They're just... No, it's on auto. There must be double keys on here. Take a look. Yeah, double keys. You can see a little bit of body movement that happens from the head turns. It's kind of fun. You can put that in there. I don't know. I mean, nobody will ever care or know about it, but whatever. It's like, it kind of sometimes, I mean, if you keep working with that concept and start building upon it and thinking about, oh, what's kind of counteractions that are going to happen from this, it can really begin the conversation of like, how can you make that look more real? And it definitely happens in your hands. Like, as it works down limbs, it has a lot of secondary action. So something that you do with your head will have this like big chain reaction all the way down to your hand. And if you can figure it out, think about it, and see it, it actually ends up making a big difference on your animation as a final product. All right, then we're gonna do the ears. All this overlap that we get to talk about today, it's great. Save that before I get into the ears. Back to my source control and do a quick submit. Oh, we got a follow from Zombie Feasting. Thank you for following. And welcome. Okay. So here we go with the ears. So again, the turn, the ears kind of do like a rotation back a little bit. Hopefully I got my axes correct here on this rig. Oh, maybe they don't go back. Let's see here. That's actually not much going on at all. That's a pretty strong angle. It's all going to be in the overlap, I think. So, head picks up and then stops. You got to be careful with this because if it goes too much, it's definitely going to look like you got big floppy ears instead of actual real ears. And then we go over and then try to return back to its default pose at the end. I'm going to steal this 646 and put it back here. It returns. I think actually, now that I'm using the ears, I'm like, oh geez, this is where you can put a lot of subtlety into your cycle as well. Because the ears are always kind of like listening for things. Maybe we can do a moment here to explain why the rabbit is looking to the left. It would be like, oh, I heard something, and then all of a sudden they'll look to the left. So I'm going to try to be a little sneaky here because the pose that we started animating with oh, I didn't even get to the first part here. Alright, good. So I'm not ready to worry about it yet. So maybe we'll do like a little bit of an ear twitch movement here at this pose. And we'll copy paste it there, and then we'll try and get the default pose to be right up next to it. We got this little bit of a twitch just before it happens, the head turn. And like again, this is another, just that little twitch there requires a bit of overlap and stuff, a bit of a pain. So I'm going to take that key right afterwards and then, or no, let's try a different way. I'm going to take the key in between and then maybe I'll just like do a little flipperoo here. I don't know if that'll work or not. It's a little too much. Never mind. Too confusing. We got the ear turn. We'll do a little bit more just to finish that movement off. And that's going to actually be a little bit overshoot. And then we turn the head. The turn and then overlap. Because it's been going fast forward and then it goes back to its original pose. So 28, copy it over there. See if that works. Might be a bit much. Yeah, it's kind of strong. Actually a bit slow. Alright, let's take these keys and tighten them up. It's not going to work either. You gotta do another overlap if we're going to go that far. Alright. It just says, what a cute heart. Heart? Was that from a long time ago when we did the following thing? Really gotta read my messages more often. Alright, so I have 3 different ear joints that are going on right now. They've all got different values, so I think the problem is I'm trying to tone it down, but I'm really just toning down one of the ear joints, and it's gonna get a bit messy. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just delete the keys, try it again. We go over and do an overlap, and we're going to be more subtle about it. Nope. And we return back to the neutral. And when I go back to neutral, I'm going to make it a little bit overshoot again. And we're going to go back to neutral again. Darn it, I went too far again. Alright, I'm going to hand key this. You just bring it back this way. You can also hit plus on your keyboard to get your controller to be a lot bigger, and that makes it a little bit easier to get this subtlety in there. This actually would be a good spot for ghosting, probably, just to get that in there. Alright, we're going to move on. And then we'll do the other ear. What time is it? 8:03, or at the top of the hour. Start of the second hour. Alright. So again, we're gonna try and get this ear listening pose in here a little bit. Copy that over. Oh yeah, that kind of works. Bit of overshoot. Copy that pose over. Alright, we're making progress. Let me go back. This one I might actually just pull the ear back a little bit on this key. Take 46, copy it over because it's the default pose. We'll overshoot it a bit further. And take 46 again and make another key. Hey, there we go. That's something. Wow. Okay, so ears. Took me about 15 minutes to get the ears down. That's pretty normal though. And that's after like lots of practice. Like, I know how frustrating that overlap animation can be. I've definitely spent a lot of time trying to get overlap working, and it doesn't really work out very well. And then he's becoming cuter. It's good. Always a good sign. And then we're gonna go to say we'll just do a new scene, and we'll reference in the rig again because it's a good way to do it. Rig reference. Hopefully the settings were the same. No, they weren't. Look, we got namespaces this time. Boo. All right. Remove reference. Try this again. Rig. No, merge. Reference. There we go. No namespaces. Alright, and then gotta find some reference. I should definitely not underestimate how long it takes to find reference. It definitely is a slow process. We do have a channel here for animation reference, which people contribute to, and I really appreciate that. And if anyone else has any animation reference that we can put in this library, feel free to add it. I wonder if this is the good one. There was a really interesting one. This one has lots of people. This is the one where he's doing the walking and stuff. Elephants, Assassin's Creed, parkour. Not sure if that was Smash Brothers. Here's one about walking, or quadruped, human doing a quadruped walk. I don't even know what to think of that. I mean, that's kind of a really neat, interesting concept to see, but also it's like, are you referencing someone who's naturally good at it? like a horse is pretty good at it. But definitely if you're trying to do like a creepy zombie walk that's using 4 legs, 4 arms, or like a quadruped. Alright, I don't think I'm gonna find what I'm looking for. I just thought there was like these old, you know, this old footage of like, here's a cat walk sideways. All these black and white footage of animals walking and stuff. Maybe we had that in here, but I don't think so. Alright, we're gonna jump over to another search. Rabbit hop. Reference. I may just have to like look at images or video or something that gives me sort of points to work from. That's not expected. There's a nice pose to work from. That's another good one right here. Oh, here's a whole bunch. This is ridiculous. Alright, I gotta find some video footage. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. You can see how complicated it is. Like, just having one cycle of a hop is like, they'll be traveling, but then there's not all this like really interesting variation that's happening. So like right away you're like, okay, well, how many cycles are you really talking about? It's a little fluffy butts. To make it look real. And then notice how they're not walking in a straight line as well, so it's like this natural curve that they're always doing. It's so much harder to do animals. Because they're so random. They're just like always doing random things all the time. This video has 68,000 views. Oh, but it was uploaded in 2009, so had lots of opportunity to get exposed. To be fair, it was my first result when I did rabbit hop reference, so the videos selection for searches doesn't seem quite as easy to do anymore. I don't know, they always seem to take you to web pages instead of actual videos anymore. Here's a reference of someone else's video or someone else's animation. Is there anything else in these searches? I might just have to deal with this. It's my choice. Oh, what's this one? Good. Very quick. Whoa, there we go. I think this bunny's just playing around. It's a nice spot right there where it's like you can see a turn and everything. Also, what's interesting is the pose, the idle pose. Look, it's very hunched over. Like that's probably more likely the pose I should be doing, rather than like I'm sitting and relaxed. It's more like I'm almost up, which I guess I'm not too far away from that already, but just because I couldn't bring the body down that far. You can really see the ears moving like crazy though. It like needs to be at least like 3 cycles. These like a super fast run, a walk run, and then an idle. And you would just basically go from one to the other. You wouldn't really like transition. It would just be like, I'm running really fast or I'm walking really slow. Audio, try maybe slower speed. Oh, on the YouTube video. Good idea. Like that's kind of a walking run, and that might actually be more appropriate. Just sort of a calm, casual thing rather than a super fast sprint. It's like there's always a contact on the ground. It's like between, and the back legs go in unison, and the front legs are just a little bit one or the other. They kind of reach out a little bit. It's a nice squash and stretch that happens in the body. Okay. I think we can get a couple of these poses in there. See if I can pause it. Kind of start on the pose where they're... Oh, darn it. If you start on a pose where they're like very close together, although I guess technically the hind feet need to be up. No, maybe not, because then your character would just start moving by leaning forward and then moving up. I don't know, maybe it'll work. We'll see. I'll just keep this pose over here on this other screen. And we'll see if we can get this done. That was 15 minutes to get the reference in there. I got 45 minutes. Let's make sure we get all the character rigged, or keyed. And one of the paws are up here. I'm just kind of in the air still. Very much in the middle of the body. Balance. Whole body itself was very much forward. Back end was up. bunched up. And legs. Over. Out. Definitely a sharp issue with that knee. I really do have to like get this controller to rotate up, make that look a little less crazy. Kind of like how one of the legs is a lot closer to the ground than the other. Gives it that nice asymmetry feel. Not really sure if the head is really doing anything interesting. I'm not exactly sure if I got the body quite right. Sarah is back. How was your meeting? Okay, let's do that pose. There says, the meeting with Maxine went well. Always good to hear. Maxine's kind of like our handy moral support. This is good. She even volunteered to do the mental health open channel session. It was her own idea, and we're like, yeah, for sure, that sounds great. Okay, let's try and see if we can get the back feet down. And I don't know how many frames this will be. Probably not very much. I go with 15. Is that a Slack channel? Question mark. This is not in the Slack channels. I just found it randomly. Rabbit running around super fast. I might put it in the Slack channel. I mean, it's been pretty helpful so far. Is that a request to put it in the Slack channel? Oh, Maxine's mental health. I thought you meant the rabbit. Yeah, that was in the general channel. That happened a few weeks back. It was open for everybody. So it just kind of came and went. She said she'll do one once a month, but they're specifically not recorded, so you can't really go back and look at it. I think I'm gonna make this foot go flat. Audrey says, that name is both amazing and a very good description. Maxine's mental health channel. Yeah, that's right. It's a new TV show. Prime time. I'm gonna put this down flat on the ground. Sarah says, probably bad time of day for me. Oh, I get it. Because you're in Australia and Maxine's in Toronto, so that would make sense. I don't know what time she put it at. Let's see if I can source it here. It's gonna be pretty tough. We have like a bazillion posts. That's happened recently. Everybody's saying hello for the beginning of the month. Oh man, it's so subtle too when I actually do find it. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's so subtle, isn't it? It doesn't really say anything. There it is though. Nope, that doesn't say it at all. That's the no orientation events. This must be the wrong one. I don't know. Anyways, it's in there somewhere if you scroll around for it. It was just a subtle event that just kind of disappeared quickly, so... because once it happens, it just kind of turns into this subtle little thing. But keep an eye out for it. Apparently it was pretty successful. Actually, it needs a 90s intro theme for Maxine's mental health channel. That's, I think every health channel needs a 90s intro theme. It's the only way it has to be. Sarah says, I thought she had her own Slack channel to discuss mental health, which would be an idea. It's all good if it doesn't matter though. Yeah, you're like, I desperately need this mental health channel. No, it was the first time we did it. It was a bit of an experiment. I'm pretty sure it was on the general channel because it was supposed to be for everybody. She does have her own channel for career dev class, which is a public channel that everybody can invite themselves to. It's not exclusive by any means, and the services that she provides is open to anybody in our Slack channel, so it's not like it's exclusive for a particular school or anything. So I carefully went through a lot of trouble here to get the controller to be zeroed out on the ground so that I can use a different controller, autosave, that I can rotate the foot up and then rotate this up. And I personally, every time I use a rig, I always kind of like to do that way because it allows me to know that this foot is flat on the ground at this point. So should almost have done other, well, I don't know if it matters that much, but I tend to like to work that way because then I can kind of make sure that this piece stays locked in, doesn't move and rotate for a period of time while the foot's on the ground, and then when the foot comes off the ground, then you can get it to move again, and that'll keep at least that base nice and sturdy, and you're not always kind of like rotating, positioning. It's really hard to like get that foot to stay still if you're trying to do both. So I'm gonna go for that. And actually, I think technically at this point the feet will go back further, as we are already front Arms are already down. Oh wait, we don't even have a moment where they go forward, so maybe I'm wrong. Go there. And so in this pose, we already have the right paw on the ground. Which seems a little bit hard to do already. It's like, how did we go from on the ground to on the ground? Maybe it's the other paw that's on the ground. Maybe we'll just do it that way anyways, just for the sake of simplicity. Not translate, I want rotates to be zeroed out. Let's see if we can use some of these controllers to help ease this a little bit. Not really sure what kind of control we're going to get here. Alright, so we need to kind of contrast the body as well, so otherwise we'll have the exact same pose. I don't think the body's doing that much changes though, so I shouldn't have to go too crazy. I will zero this out. I kind of have more of a base to start from here. This is really hard to visualize usually on a cycle. So it's going to be interesting to see if I can actually pull this off or not. $27. There's definitely a stretch point I'm not really properly accounting for here. The thing is, these are a wide variety of movements here, but that's okay. There's just a real big variation between one step and another step. Oh, I just went to the next video. It says bunny cam. Hey, look at this, we got more bunnies. Let's look at some more bunny reference. Why not? That's interesting. It's that like one step pattern that happens here. Not catching any of the footage here. Audrey, look at the fluffy tail. It's too cute. I must admit, rabbits have some pretty cute variations and varieties. It's just like, just a big fluff ball. You're just like, wow, that's ridiculous. This one is definitely little hops, but that might work good because it'll just be easy to go from like, I'm moving and I'm stopping, and I'm moving and I'm stopping. I'm gonna try and go for that, and if it's not the best approach, then I'll just use that as a variation, and then we'll just have to make a run as well if we wanted that to work properly. So trying to visualize this here, we're definitely missing a pose where the feet are up in the air. That's what we're missing here. So where is that pose? We have kind of the feet are down, and then there's this feet up, and the arms are under. It's kind of like supposed to be this pose, but it wasn't quite strong enough. So I'm going to do another one. We'll take this pose here, duplicate it on frame 10. We'll see if we can get a better pose. Purposely not trying to rotate the COG very much because it's not usually a very good strategy for keep the COG kind of level, and then you do all the spinal movements instead, and that way at least you have some sort of stationary piece that you can work from that just deals with traveling up and down and forward and back rather than rotation elements. That way you don't have two things doing rotations at the same time, and it's really hard to track what's happening. Try to get these legs that look a little better. Okay, so I'm gonna try and we're missing, like, we have sort of we have this pose now, but we don't really have the part where the back feet are down for sure. Well, this is supposed to be the back feet down. The back feet down, and then the front feet are up in the air. So let's see if we can find that pose, see if we can piece this. There it was. That thing is supposed to be this one. The feet were definitely in the wrong spot. So I'll take this one, we'll redo this as well. Try this on 15. And we'll try bringing the feet up here. Oh. God, I was doing that compensation here. In this case, they're really like back, up. Oh, that one's not so much up. Okay, kind of feels like we got some poses now. I like this one and that one. This one's kind of like the one that happens after this. So, what if we take this pose, shift it over. Oh, I didn't do anything with the body. Let's see here. What else can we do with the body here? It needs to be going down. Still on its way down. We'll bring it up. Be closer to the high one. And we'll bring this up, I guess. Missing something here. Let's go back to reference. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down. Seems like the back is... I mean, usually with quadrupeds you have like sort of independent back half and front half. They don't usually stay too connected to each other. And so looking at it, and looking at how the back is just kind of going out and up, in, the front is just pushing out. Just have to keep that in mind as I'm doing it. So the back end is just basically lifting up and down. So this is the up, forward, down, up, forward, down. Let me go back. Is he a pose here? Yeah, what about this pose? We don't have that one. Yeah, we don't have that one. Okay, cool. So let's do that. I'm making it 25 frames, but I'm really planning on like pulling it back into like a normal size animation after this is done. But I'm just looking to see if I can get the poses in there, and then we should be able to visualize it a little better. I don't know if I got my pivot right. This is right on the 0, but yet the controller itself seems to be like quite a bit offset from the actual ground. So when I was creating the pivot for this foot, I must have to put it somewhere slightly different. But I think that'll work. Alright, and then I think at this point we need to really kind of like bring this body in. Bring the head up. Put the feet back on the ground again. Oh, we got a new post here. This is great for becoming famous.
And a writer, I'm looking for somebody who brings everything to the table.
Sorry, I'm doing my own monetizing. No, not monetizing. Moderating. I'm monetizing right now. There, solved. My plan, because I know that I'm probably not going to have time to get this finished, although I might be able to get something finished. I'm really hoping I can get something, like just, even if it's not polished, it's just sort of in a rough state. Something that looks kind of like a run that's just in a blockout phase. That'd be pretty cool. And then I can just put that in there and you can do a quick sequence element or something. I don't know, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We do have an idle animation. Here's where I was going with that. So I can technically get the idle working if I have to. Alright, so we have this, down, out, and then we go back to up. Probably not going to need that first pose anymore. So if we started on frame 10, we have almost everything.
Yeah, it's not about the ideas, it's about how you support the ideas.
There we go. There's this moment here where it doesn't make sense, where we've got front paws down, back paws down, and they both go back. I know that I just made that pose, but it just doesn't quite seem right. Almost seems like, what if we just went straight from, what if we just took frame 20 out of here? Went straight to this one. Oh, we're missing that pose where the hands are up in the air. What? Did I get that wrong? That's the pose I'm looking at. And then somehow, how does it transition out of this? It does. It goes all the way to the point where we crisscross the front paws to the back paws. This, like this one almost. We haven't actually lifted the paws up yet, so it's this one. Happened here? I thought I had this figured out here when I moved that key over. I guess I need to have that element of moving forward. Clearly missing something smart in this whole element here. Alright, move that out to there, take this, bring it back to 0. Make this a 16 frame cycle. I think I'm missing I'm missing a looping frame, that's for sure. So I'm just putting that in will help, but what part is too long? Oh no, that's good. We'll do this. Okay, so I grab my first frame, middle mouse click to 20. Reselect all my controllers for a second here. Middle mouse click to 20. I'll give this a cycle. Kind of working. We're in the beginning stages here. There's a huge pop where the head goes up and then down right away. I don't know if we can maybe like, I wonder what's causing that exactly. It's just something in my curves I've got to like figure out. Down to 10 minutes left. This guy. Forward and backwards. Audrey wants to become famous. But do I? But sure, but do I have to buy followers? Are you really famous if you're buying your followers? It's a open-ended theory. Alright, we actually kind of got a bunny hop here. It's not too bad. A little bit bumpy on the head. Not sure what that's all about. It's that rotation right at the beginning. I mean, my wallet certainly doesn't feel fancy then. That That's true. Well, it's feeling pretty down when it's empty, so gotta respect that. Man, what am I doing wrong here? Something is just not like I don't know why it's just, it's like I'm just missing something natural there and I don't quite get it yet. There's something on the translate. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Go up really fast and it stops. There we go. That's not too bad, eh? Kind of working. Missing all the subtlety of polish, of course, but kind of came together out of nowhere all of a sudden at the end there. Nice little bit of a slow run. Let's go for it. I've got only 7 minutes left, so... Oh, and look, I haven't even saved my file once. How embarrassing is that? Don't do as I do, do as I say. That's my morals. Alright, hop 01. Make sure I submit that. So I think to get that hop to look better, lots of ear overlap could definitely make a cool difference there. And then we would also probably want to be looking at, like, I don't know, I'm sure there's like a lot of polished elements there for the legs and stuff. Making it feel so it's not so consistent, like the movement, like even the right, left paw feel pretty consistent. So looking at the timing and trying to figure out what makes this very neutral and where can we just like speed things up and slow things down, that based on the parts. But I think from a distance, it's gonna look good enough for now, and I'll have to just call it there and then bring it into Unreal. So there is a bunch of joints in here under the deformation system, and I'm going to export that as a hop animation. I haven't even exported the skeletal mesh with the new updates, so I'm going to have to try that as well. Do that as well. Backdrops. Audrey says he looks pretty good. That's good. Thank you, Audrey. Backdrops, source, rabbit. Rabbit, hop, 01. Animation, bake it, 20 frames, export. And then let's open up the idle. Actually, I should really do the skeletal mesh first, but whatever. Just in case things go wrong. And then where's the animation? Group, main, deformation system, export selection, rabbit, idle. Animation, 100 frames, export. And we could jump over to our rig file. Where is our rig file? Oh, here it is. Rig file. And this time I'm going to do a skeletal mesh export as opposed to an animation export. So I need the mesh, and I need the deformation skeletal system together. Export selection. Oh, I think I gotta jump over to my source control stuff here so I can check out the X file that I'm about to save over top of. And we're going to jump into rabbit, and there's our skeletal mesh. Smoothing groups, no other checkboxes. We don't need animation. Export, selection, replace. Close. Okay, now jump over to Unreal. Go to our rabbit folder. I'm just going to try, this is our skeletal mesh that we imported before. I'm just going to re-import it again and say yes to all because some of the bones have changed because we've re-rigged it since then. We're going to re-merge it to the skeletal meshes using the skeleton. Take a look at it, make sure it's still working. It's correct. Save. Check out everything. Now, animations. We're going to make a new folder for animations. Import. These two guys. Make sure we pick our rabbit skeleton. Because it knows that they're animations, it just needs to put them into the right thing. So we import. Oh, they came up 90 degrees. So to fix that, I can change the import rotation. So I don't know whether it's the X or the Y or the Z. Let's do 90 degree and then we do re-import. There we go, it was the X. And then we'll have to do that with the other one as well. So when you change it through that method, it will just remember that these are all 90 degrees offsets whenever they're exported. So from here on out, they will always get imported in the correct angle. Let's turn off the hierarchy. There's our bunny rabbit and our idle. She's looking a little dopey here, now that I'm thinking about how the rabbits are moving. It's just like the lazy, I just woke up bunny that hasn't quite thought about how to do anything. And then so at this point we would be, looking at our cinematics and figuring out how we're going to put it in our cinematics, but at this particular angle or whatever we're going to be doing isn't going to really work very well. So there's a whole other thing I have to be doing about changing my angle, which I may do offline. I may do with everybody in the next stream just for fun. Depends on how bored I feel like we're getting with this rabbit. I'm just going to duplicate this for fun though, and we'll just take the camera down here and we'll bring in our character because that's always kind of fun to do. And so we want to bring in our skeletal mesh into our sequence. And then our bunny is somewhere in the world. Where are you, bunny? Let's focus on you. Whoa, you're really, really far away. Wow, how do I properly put you in the right spot easily and fast? I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned this is going to take me forever to get you over to the town. Get over to the town. Get over there. This is going to be like the slowest transportation method ever. Alright, oops, now my camera's really fast. Alright, I can just hit end on my keyboard. It'll snap it to the ground, which is pretty handy. And then I'll put the sequencer back in here again, and oh shoot, where's our bunny? Oh shoot. How come we didn't get that transform to stay? It's still there. Why are you not where I thought you were? Oh, you're just up here. There we go. Oh, it didn't save the end button key press. That's interesting. So, key that position. So to add animations, this is all I have to do right now. Sarah thinks I should have a massive group of evil bunnies swarming. Okay, well, I'd have to get into the swarm some kind of swarm. I don't know, particle system. Maybe we can do it in Niagara or something. Create a massive swarming of bunnies. Be kind of interesting. Let's see if we can put a bunny hop in here. Add another idle. Oops, wrong one. Zoom in here for a second. And so there's our little bit of a bunny hop. So we'll do like a little bit of a key on our translations. And we'll travel forward a little bit. Key it. So we have a little bit of movement. And let's just see what happens when we play it. It's like I can't move, I'm stuck in the mud. This is as far as I can go. It's still a long road ahead to get this to look reasonable. But anyway, we're having fun. He's kind of cute. He's definitely like looking around in his idle. So I managed to actually get something in the game. Holy cow, I can't believe that actually happened. There it says, a group of bunnies in a fluffle. Is a fluffle? Is it really? A fluffle? That's awesome. Well then, I'll have to make a massive fluffle of bunnies that are just like swarming everywhere. Alright, I guess I better wrap it up since I've gone over my time now, but I definitely had fun getting that working. Pretty happy that it actually did work out in the end. And yeah, we'll see what we end up doing with it. We might do some kind of fun stuff with it and make sure we get it in the back of a camera shot anyways. And we'll see next week when we have a chance to think about it for a bit. But anyway, thanks to everybody for showing up. I really appreciate the company as always. And hope you guys have a good weekend as well. A long weekend for us over here. And I'll see you again next week. All right, take care everybody.